discuss the DPSP and fundamental duties. The directive principle of state policy. Okay, it's a very important topic, DPSP, directive principle of state policy. So see, before going to the topic, let's see what is all about this one. Directive means it is giving an order to every Indian state to implement a policy, which is known as social economic policy, which means a welfare state. Okay, this is very important. Often asked in BSc, what is this DPSP? Directive Principle of State Policy. But which means the government of India is giving directive to every Indian states to adopt a socio-economic policy, which means a welfare state. Okay, and what is this welfare state? Welfare state means to make the country equal. Okay, socio-economic development. The schemes, the projects, everything has to reach the common man. Okay, the society should be equal. That is why it's a socio-economic policy. In short, TPSP, the most important objective of TPSP is to establish the economic democracy in India. Economic democracy. Okay. And you know what is this economic democracy? Economic democracy means keeping the schemes to the people, no discriminations. Okay, it should be equal, co-equal. You might be rich, you might be poor, I might be literate, illiterate. Every person in India should receive equal benefits. That is why it is known as an economic democracy. No confusion? So today we are going to study about different types of DPSP. Remember, for the convenience, the scholars, the intellectual man has divided the DPSP, the Directive Principle of State Policy, into 4. Okay, so we will go one by one. But remember, see, it is all about the state government, not the central government. This policy has to be adopted by every Indian state. Alright. Not by the country, not by the central government, every Indian state. So remember, some of the DPSP some of the Directive Principle of State Policy might be there in Assam, but not here in Nagaland, because it depends upon that particular state government. Especially the money. If you have the wealth, the money, you will have DPSP, all the DPSP. But if you don't have, you will not implement it. So remember, DPSP will not be same in all the Indian states. But for general, let's see the 4 principles. General. Okay, we have 4 principles: socialistic principle, Gandhian principle, liberal principle, and general principles. But it's up to you. If you want to write together, it's up to you. But if NPC asks, discuss some of the socialistic principle, you have to write only the socialistic. But if he asks DPSP and 10 marks, you can write together, because timing is going to be short. Your time is going to be short in advance. So please remember, if you are just asking, they are asking for just 10 marks together, write everything, some of them. You just choose some. But if you have socialistic, write only socialistic principle. So today we will first discuss with the socialistic, we will go to the Kantian, we will go to the liberal, we will go to the general principle. See, I'm not going to discuss everything, but I will discuss the basic features of a socialistic principle. See, the first socialistic principle is that socialistic means the society in general. Remember, what is the main differences between TPSP and fundamental rights? Yesterday I discussed fundamental rights. Fundamental rights is for every individual. But when I say TPSP, it is for the society and general. Okay, that is why it is known as socialistic principle. Socialistic principle means they want to have a social order. Okay, the society should have a social order characterized by justice. Social, economic, political justice. Okay, see, socialistic principle is that they want to establish a social order in India. The society should be characterized by social order. That means the society in general should have justice. What kind of a justice we're talking about? Economic justice, political justice, and social justice. Economic justice means what? Well-keeping the skin, no discrimination. Political justice means what? Right to vote, right to reject. These are known as political justice. Next is social justice. That means no discrimination. No discrimination of people on the basis of caste, creed, religion. You might be poor, you might be rich, you might be literate, illiterate. No discriminations. So these are known as the socialistic principles. So please write down number one. Let us write some socialistic principle. Number one, equal pay for equal work. Equal pay for equal work. First one socialistic principle is equal pay for equal work. See, suppose this year you get ESC. So you might be a lady, you might be a man. The salary is same, right? As an ESC, you will receive around 70% cash in hand, 70,000 cash in hand. No confusion? So remember, no discrimination. Equal pay for equal work. That is one of the socialistic principles. Second, principle. To prevent the concentration of wealth in few hands. To prevent the concentration of wealth in few hands. See, we all know India is corrupted. India is corrupted, so they want to prevent that. To prevent the concentration of wealth in few hands. See, India is one of the richest countries in the world. Okay, all the billionaires. See, Mukesh Ambani. Yes, they are one of the richest men in the world. Most of the richest men are from India, but no, only the few hands. So no, the wealth has to be distributed equally. That's the reason this is one of another socialistic principle. Third, to provide education, public assistance, to provide education, public assistance, to provide education, public assistance in case of unemployment and old age. Okay, old age. To provide public assistance, education in case of unemployment and old age. See, who knows, you might be unemployed. If you are unable to break APC exam, you are unemployed. You will become old. So who will look after you? It is the state and general. So we have a social welfare department. Yes, it should be there. It should be there. So I have been telling you, this socialistic principle is really targeting the society in general. They want to make a just society. What is a just society? Equal society. No discriminations. The schemes, the projects should reach the people in the right time, in the right place, to the right person. That's all. This is known as socialistic principle. One more. To protect the health of the workers, women, and children. See? To to protect the health of the workers, okay, children and women. Too important. We have to protect the welfare of the people in general. So to protect the health of the children, workers, women in general. These are known as the socialistic principle. So remember, anything which is concerned with people in general is known as socialistic principles. So there are so many, there are around 10 to 15 socialistic principles. I can't discuss everything, but in summary, this is some of the socialistic principles you will come across in the TPSP. And remember, the TPSP is one of the favorite topic of NBSC prelims. Okay, NBSC prelims. So please remember, in mains you might get an essay, not directly, but they might ask, how can India have a just society, equal society? So see, mention all this indirectly. Alright, so you know the summary of the Indian Constitution. It lets us know what kind of a government do we have in India. See, we have a parliamentary form of government. But let's see the system, how they develop its government. So this is the only socialistic. Next we'll go to the Gandhian principle. Mahatma Gandhi. The Gandhian principle. Gandhian principle means some principle which is been given or favored by Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, those principles which Mahatma Gandhi really wants to have in India. So number one is Gandhian principle means those principles which is being favored by Mahatma Gandhi. Number one, to establish Panchayat in India and give them more powers. To establish the Panchayat. You see? What is this Panchayat? What is this Panchayat? Yes, you came across Panchayat, right? Panchayat means the lowest government you will find in the village, levels of government. Just like, see, in Kohima we have municipal council. So in that particular village, we might have a panchayat system. Okay, and so that the village can come together and give them more powers and functions and all. Next is cottage industry. To establish cottage industry on an individual basis is one of the most important Gandhian principles. Cottage industry means what? Self-employed industry, a small industry, you know, right? Just like handloom and handicraft, you know. So to establish that, it is one of the most important. Drugs and alcohol. Drugs and alcohol. To prohibit the consumption of drugs and alcohol. I can see now in LDB Act, in Nagaland now, we're discussing. So Mahatma Gandhi was really against the consumption of drugs and alcohol. So to prohibit the consumption of drugs and alcohol is one of the most important objective of Mahatma Gandhi. This is the reason. This is the reason why. Even today, we are fighting against the drugs and alcohol. Okay, so individual basis in the society, you have to work on. You have to work on. So this is too important. So these are some of the Gandhian principles given by Mahatma Gandhi. So these are too important. So please remember, I will be discussing all the things, but education. Mahatma Gandhi is really concerned about the education of the weaker sections like ST, SC and OBC. Okay. Mahatma Gandhi is really concerned about to look after the weaker sections of the society like ST, SC, OBC this comes under the Kantian principle. So we have discussed the socialistic, which means to aim equal society in general. Next is Kantian principle. Number 3 is liberal principle. Liberal principles. Liberal principles. Liberal principle means to get freedom from somewhere. Okay, just like India was fighting for independence, they got independence from England. Just like that, to separate or to get freedom. Just like to separate judiciary from executive. Yes, judiciary from executive. One of the most important liberal principles is this one: to separate the judiciary from executive. So let's see, what is the executive, what is the judiciary? Judiciary means the judge, High Court judge, Supreme Court judge. When I say executive, that means ministers and all, right? Or just like an EAC, you know. So they should not work together, they should work separately. Judge is to give judgment. Executive is to make policy and implement the policies. So they should be separated. I think that is true in India now. Yes, they're almost separated. You become an EAC, you cannot be a judge. Your job is just to maintain law and order. That's all. So this is one of the liberal principles. Secondly, number two. Uniform civil code. Civil code. I don't think you have to memorize this article. Go home and see. You go home today and make an essay on this. Article 44. Uniform civil code. A very important topic from the EAC point of view. This is going to be asked. Essay type questions. What is the positive features of a uniform civil code? What is the negative? The cons of negative aspects of uniform civil code. So in general, uniform civil code means we just want to have a common religious law. Just one law. India is one country, so we will have just one religious law. So don't you think it's good or bad? Somehow it is going to be good. Okay, because see, if you see the Muslim law, they can diverse, women have no inheritance. Yes, but when the uniform civil code comes, they will look into everything. Women will get a share, they will not be discriminated by their husband, you know, but the negative point will be, we will almost lose freedom now. I'm a Hindu, you're Christians, we have our own cultures and ethics. So it is going to interfere now. So this is so important. So go home and see, it's a debatable topic. Every time uniform civil code is often asked, it's a debatable. And remember, Uttarakhand is the first state to implement the uniform civil code. Entire state. Uttarakhand. Next is the general principle. Okay, general principle. Okay, general principle means which is the duty of every Indian citizens. Okay, to promote international peace and order. One of the general principle of TPSP is to promote international peace and order. Peace and order. Very much important. To promote the international peace and order is the duty of every Indian citizen. So which means general. It is a duty of every Indian citizens to promote international peace and order and to protect the natural environment. To protect the natural environment. So what is this natural environment? Yes, what is this natural environment? Natural environment means forests, rivers, you know, okay. Climate, everything we have to protect. Obviously, as a good citizens, protection of forests, land, Rivers is the duty of every Indian citizen. So these are known as the general principles. Lastly, we can talk about to settle international disputes by arbitration. Arbitration means, suppose if India is fighting with Pakistan, India have an issue with China, let's settle by peacefully, diplomatically, not through fight. Okay, so this is known as arbitration. To settle the international dispute by arbitration. That's all. So see, these are known as the TPSP and general, Directive Principle of State Policy. Alright, so remember, whenever you see a questions, TPSP is different with fundamental rights, because fundamental right is the most powerful, because it is enforceable. Remember, if it is violated, can you approach the court? If some TPSP is not implemented in Nagaland, can you approach? No, it is not approachable, because the court is never going to enforce. That is why it is less powerful. Who is more powerful? Fundamental rights, because fundamental rights is enforceable if it is violated. Take the example, right to sleep. Right to sleep is a fundamental right. Tonight, if your friend comes and disturb you like anything, 11-12 p.m., you can go to the court. Okay, you can file a courtship. But no, if your friend is not protecting the rivers, if you challenge the court is never going to interfere or enforce. So that is why fundamental right will have every time more weightage than the TPSP. But it is the moral duty of every Indian state to have a TPSP. Take the example, in Assam, wine shop is open. Yes, alcohol is open. But in Nagaland, no, it is not open, because it depends upon the will of that particular state. To have a TPSP or not depends upon that particular welfare of the state and the money, if they have the capacity. That's all. So some of the TPSP which is found in Nagaland will not be found in Rajasthan, Gujarat. You have to remember all this. So this is how we end up with the TPSP. The last topic for today is going to be fundamental duties today. Okay. We all know we have, yesterday I discussed about the fundamental rights. We have 6 fundamental rights. Fundamental rights is for every individual, for personal development. Now, if the state is giving you 6 fundamental rights, you have to give something to the state. So, fundamental duties is something given to the state by the people in general. So, let's see. Let's see the fundamental rights in India. Just one article, remember. Article 51A. 11 fundamental duties. Alright. We just have 11 fundamental duties under Article 51A of the Indian Constitution. Just one article. Article 51. Article 51A. Just 11 fundamental duties. So let's see. Okay. Let's see the 11 fundamental duties. Number 1, please write down. To abide by the Constitution. To abide by the Constitution and respect its idols and institutions. That is national flag and anthem. National flag and national anthem. To abide by the Constitution and respect its idols and institutions. That is the national flag and national anthem. Remember, some fundamental duties are civic. Some fundamental duties are moral. Which means, to respect the national flag and anthem is a moral duty. Yes or no? Whether you respect or not, people, nobody's going to punish you. But obviously, as an Indian, as a good citizen, I will respect the national flag and anthem. When the national song has been sung, we will all rise up. Yes, on Independence Day, Republic Day now. So it's a moral duty. Next, number 2. To cherish and follow the noble idols. To cherish and follow the noble idols which inspired the struggle for freedom. To cherish and follow the noble idols which inspired the national struggle for freedom. Take the example. non-violence, Satyagraha, truth. Mahatma Gandhi said that we will get independence by truth and non-violence. So is that true? Obviously, so these are good ideas. No, you should never harm your friends. You should never harm your enemies. Try to solve it by peacefully. Okay, these are our moral duties. Next, to protect public property, and give up violence. See, it's a civic duty. We have to protect the public properties like race house, restaurants, playground, football ground, government office. Okay, these are public property. To protect the public property and give up violence. Next point. To protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. To protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. So there, let's see something. To protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. That means, suppose China attack us. Okay. Now, it is the first army. The army is going to protect the people in general. But if the army is unable to protect us, now we are civilian. But we have to fight with the Chinese. Because it is our duty to protect our country, or else we will lose our freedom again. Another country go by us, we will lose our freedom. So it is our moral duty to protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. Next point. To defend and render military services, to defend the country and render military services when called upon to do so. To defend the country and render military services when called upon to do so. Next point. To value and preserve the rich heritage of India composite culture. India composite culture. To value and preserve the rich heritage of India composite culture. So let's see, what is this? We have Taj Mahal. Yes, we have Agra Fort. We have Delhi Fort. We have just like Victoria Memorial. So it's half is Indian, half is Islam. It's a mixed culture we have. Okay, the buildings are almost it's a mixed one. Some is decorated in the form of Islam architecture. Some is with regard to the Hindu temple. Okay, mosque and temple, they are together. So this has to be protected. Okay, this mixed culture has to be protected, and this is one of the fundamental duties in India. To value and preserve the rich heritage of India composite culture. This is too important. Next. To promote common brotherhood among all the peoples. To promote common brotherhood among all the Indian peoples. To promote common brotherhood among all the peoples living diversities. Okay. To promote the feeling of common brotherhood among all the Indian peoples living diversities. Socially, economically, culturally, we are different. I'm a Muslim. I'm a Northeast people. I'm a Northeast people. I'm a not North Indian. I'm a South Indian. So obviously we're somewhat different, but we have to give up all this and the feeling of brotherhood should be there, or else there will be conflict. Every time we will have a war. So no, it is not possible. To have a feeling of common brotherhood is the duty of every Indian citizens. Next point. To protect the environment. Including the forests, rivers, etc. Same with fundamental TPSP. This was asked in IS exam. Give one common features of both TPSP and fundamental duties. Same here. To protect the environment, including the forests, rivers. Okay, these are all known as fundamental duties. How much? 9, 8. Okay, next. To develop scientific number, to develop scientific, to develop 8 or 9? 9, 8, right? Okay. To develop scientific number, inquiry, and humanism among all Indians. To develop scientific number, a spirit of inquiry and humanism. A spirit of inquiry, a spirit of inquiry and humanism. Okay. To develop scientific number, a spirit of inquiry and humanism. What is this? What is this scientific number? Research should go on. Okay, every individual should go on research. Every individual should go on research, and we should have a feeling of humanism among all the Indians. Inquiry means what? Without inquiry, you'll never crack any exam. Yes or not? You should have a feeling of inquiry. Okay, what is happening? What is going on? How to move forward? Yes, if India is poor, why it is poor? How can we improve? How can we become rich like other countries? We have to inquire it. We have to think it. That means scientifically we have to think it. This humanism, this inquiry, a feeling of inquiry should be there among every Indian, so that we will move forward. You see in America, why in China? Why China is the most powerful economic country in the world? Why China is moving? Because of this reason. Scientifically, they are too strong. Yes, their mind has been trained in that way. They are going for research, reform. Without research and reform, you will never break this exam. Go for research, son. Okay, let's see. Suppose take the example. Angami will celebrate the Security Festival. What is the Security Festival? Let us go for research somehow, so that we will move forward. There should be some reforms. Number 9. Now is then. Okay, to strive towards excellence, to strive towards excellence in every spheres of individual, to strive towards excellence in every spheres of individuals and collective activity. To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activities, so that nation constantly rise to a higher level of endeavor and success. To strive towards excellence in every spheres of individuals and collective activities, so that nation constantly rise to high level of endeavor and success. Okay, what is that? Suppose you crack your PC exam. That is a success for your individual, but that is also giving a success to the country, because you're going to make a very huge impact on the human capital. You're going to serve the people. You're going to be skillful, smart. Yes, that is the reason why. Individual success and collective success are all together. We will take the nation forward. This is too important. Last point. To provide education to all the children by the parents within 6 to 14 years. It is the duty of every parents to provide education to every child. Okay, this is too important. Now, as a mother, if you are a mother, provide them education in this primary education up to 14 years. That's all. And remember, we have 10 fundamental rights. This is the latest fundamental right. Fundamental duties, which was added by which is the latest fundamental duties. This is the one. 86 Constitutional Amendment Act 2002. This is too important. The 86 Constitutional Amendment Act 2002 has added a new fundamental duties known as to provide compulsory education to every children by their parents from 6 to 14 years. It is compulsory. You must provide as a husband and wife, you have to provide education to your child from 6 to 14 years. So these are all known as 11 fundamental duties. There is one important committee that deals with fundamental duties that is known as Sadar Suransi Committee. Sadar Suransi Committee. Okay. This is often asked in BSc. Sadar Suransi Committee, 1976. Sadar Suransi Committee is the most important committee that deals with fundamental duties. It was added in the year 1976, set up in the year 1976. It recommended 8 fundamental duties. This is very important. Sadar Suransi has made recommendations of 8 fundamental duties. It was appointed in the year 1976, but it is often known as, but in India now we have only 11 fundamental duties. So remember, fundamental duties is somehow similar with TPSP, Directive Principle of State Policy, because it is not enforceable. Even though you burn the national flag, you destroy the public property, you will never be punished, because the court is never going to enforce. So who is more powerful? It is the fundamental duties. So this is the topic you will come across in NPC exam. One of the unique common features of both fundamental duties and Directive Principle of State Policy. That is to protect the environment, including the forest, rivers, okay, and the climate and all. This is known as the command. So you go home and see. Let's have a comparison. And for why we have all this? Why do we have a fundamental duties? Because every Indian citizen should be trained. We should be a good citizens. Only then we are going to move forward. That is the reason why we have a fundamental duties. And why do we have a fundamental rights? Fundamental rights is for individual development. As I'm a person, I have the right to vote, right to worship my own religion. Yes, I have the right to move throughout the country. I can carry out my own trade business. I can reside in any part of the country, carry out any professions. So for individual development, we need fundamental rights. For the development of the society in general, we need TPSP, the Directive Principle of State Policy. And to be a very good citizens, we must have a fundamental duties. So with this, we have enough. So tomorrow, okay, we will see the topic of just like some non-constitutional laws we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, like the Niti Aayog, okay, like the National Development Council and Interstate Council and Zonal Council. The most important topic I will discuss in detail. So tomorrow is going to be a very important topic on the non-constitutional laws. We'll see you class tomorrow.